So all of my restaurants make a New York style pizza. You know, if it's 20-inch, an 18-inch, or a 12-inch like we're making today. This goes back to, you know, my favorite pizzeria when I was a kid, Uncle Joe's. It was that cheese pizza that I had when I was a kid, and I'm still making it today. So let me show you how to make it. I'll show you how to make the best New York style pizza at home. Before we start cooking our pizzas, we want to make sure our oven's preheated. We like to set our oven at 500 to 525 degrees. And we like to preheat our oven for about 45 minutes to an hour before we bake in it. When I set my baking seals into my oven, I like to position my rack the second from the top, and I like to put my lower rack on the very bottom. So when we cook, we're going to start on top, and then we're going to finish on the bottom and then out. So now we have some dough balls that were prepared 3 days ago. So I'll take off that top, scrape off the sides. I'll add a little bit of semolina over the top, a little bit of flour, pretty much a 50-50 blend. Grab underneath and scrape it, flip it right over. So you can see that bottom of that dough. It's not the prettiest. I'm going to always use my bottom as my bottom as my top as my top. So a little more semolina and flour, 50-50, flip it back over, and now we're going to start our push. So we landed this on our marble. What I like to do is when I'm stretching a pizza to land it on a surface, like a marble, granite, even stainless. Sometimes it's hard to stretch pizzas on a wood surface. So this is great because it's nice and cool and easy to slide out, especially like with the semolina. Even if you use cornmeal, it's kind of like almost like little ball bearings that it kind of glides over that surface. This dough is semi-cold. I had it at room temperature for about 2 hours before we use it. So when I go to start my stretch, I'm going to create a crust, push down the middle. How thick do I want my pizza? It's really personal preference, so it depends on what you want. You know, do I want to be a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch? I'm going to go for about a 1/4 inch and push down my middle. Flip it over, create a crust, push down the middle. And when I do it, I kind of want to use my body mechanics behind it. I'm not like so much like this, I'm more like this. Flip it back over, stretch, turn, If you see my hands, left turn, out turn. What do you feel comfortable with? Always around your edge, never in your middle. I'm always around my edge. If I'm hand stretching it, putting my edges around like this, around the edge. Never in the middle. I'm never stretching my pizza in my middle. I'm always around the edge. You don't want it to be a thin middle or a floppy center. So I'm going to stretch it to about 11.5 inches. I may look for some areas that might be a little thin, which could get burnt. And I may want to degas a little bit of dough there. Sometimes if you have a thin layer of dough, either have a kind of an error that, oh, did the oven guy mess up? Or did the person stretching mess up? Well, I'm kind of the same person right now because I'm stretching, I'm going to be working the oven. If I have a thin layer of dough here, I may want to degas it so I don't have a burnt area that just looks like I messed up. It's kind of one of those things that I look at. So let's make sure we have enough semolina on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and have about 11.5 inches. Don't worry, I'm going to stretch it out before I'm done. So now we're ready to decorate our pizza. First, we have our make line, ingredients that go on before the pizza is cooked. So we have our mozzarella, our tomato sauce, and our pepperoni. Then we're going to have our ingredients that go on after the bake. We have our dry oregano, grated Romano, and a little bit of garlic oil. So let's start off with our sauce. I'm going to go ahead and add our sauce to the middle. When I sauce, I'm not going to handle it like this. I'm going to actually kind of hold it like I'm holding a pencil or a pen and go around in sort of half circles and then go into full circles. And we're going to leave a 1/2 inch border. We're going to add our mozzarella to the middle. Using 2 hands, we're going to go ahead and cover our sauce all the ways to that border. Want to make sure I have a clean border. Now this thick cup and char Rosa Grande pepperoni is the one that I use. But if you're at your own grocery store or you see any type of cup and char or cup and crisp sometimes you'll see in a grocery store, go ahead and grab those. So we're going to be adding our pepperoni, following that sauce line, following that cheese line. And we're going to go ahead and have them touching. You want to have them touching because these cup. So if you don't have these touching and you go every other one, it's going to really feel like you kind of got ripped off on your pepperoni because when they cup, they actually kind of lose space a little bit. So following all the ways to the middle. And we are good to go. So now I'm going to gradually stretch it out. I'm going to grab my peel, lift it up, and pick it up. Now with that weight of those ingredients, I'm going to really kind of stretch out my pizza. Now we're ready to go into a 500 to 520 degree oven. This pizza is going to take about 8 to 10 minutes or until it's golden brown. So now we're going to go ahead and open our oven up, and we're going to land our pizza in or on the top steel, just like that. If you need to position it, just be careful. You can position your pizza a little bit and move it. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and close this, cook it for about 5 minutes. Check our pizza, see if we have to turn it halfway, and then land it on our bottom for the second half of our bake. All right, it's been 5 minutes, and we'll check our pizza. Grab it, turn it halfway, and go ahead and put it back in its spot for another 2 minutes. Then we'll move it down. Okay, now it's been an extra 2 minutes. We'll grab our pizza, go ahead and land it right on the bottom, and just cook it for another minute or so, and then we're good to go. All right, our pizza is pretty much done being baked. Let's go take it to the table. Now we'll land our pizza on a board. We'll go ahead and cut, then finish. I'm going to cut this into 6 slices. What's nice is you can hear that bottom. You can see it too. It's nice and crispy. I'm going to finish it with a little bit of dry oregano, some grated Romano, a little bit of garlic oil. And this pizza is like that slice that you hold up that kind of cracks a little bit, like I mentioned. You want that crack, but it doesn't break. When you look at it, it's a crack, but it doesn't break. It's really New York style pizza right there. It doesn't get any better than that.